The stars above Earth looked calm, silent, beautiful. But near the edge of orbit, that silence was breaking. A massive alien fleet floated in the darkness, like a wall of metal and light. Their ships were smooth, glowing, and far more advanced than anything humans had ever built. They did not rush. They did not panic. They simply waited. Inside one of the alien command ships, tall figures stood around a glowing table. Their eyes moved across the image of Earth, slowly spinning. One of them spoke in a cold voice. Scan complete. Civilization level primitive. Another one tilted its head slightly. We detect projectile-based weapons, metal bullets. For a moment, there was silence. Then they laughed. Metal bullets? One of them said. They still fight like ancient species. The commander of the fleet stepped forward. His voice was calm but full of control. Begin the observation phase. Do not destroy them yet. He looked at Earth again. Let them show us everything they have. Far below on Earth, things were not calm. Sirens screamed across cities. People ran through streets. News screens flashed with the same message everywhere. Unknown fleet detected in orbit. Inside a military command center, the air was thick with fear and tension. Screens showed live images from space. Hundreds of alien ships, all perfectly still. General Marcus Hale stood in the center of the room. His face was serious, but his voice stayed steady. Status, he asked. A young officer replied quickly. Sir, all global defense systems are online. Fighter jets are ready. Orbital cannons are locked. Another voice joined. Sir, they're not attacking. Marcus frowned slightly. Not yet. He looked at the main screen again. They're watching us. Minutes passed. Then suddenly, everything changed. One of the alien ships moved. A beam of light shot down toward the ocean. It hit the water without a sound, and then a massive explosion. A wave rose higher than anything ever recorded. Coastal cities shook. Alarms grew louder. In the command center, chaos began. They just fired. Impact confirmed. Energy levels off the charts. Marcus didn't hesitate. Engage all defenses, he said. We are not waiting. Fighter jets launched into the sky. Missiles fired from land and sea. Human forces moved fast, strong, and without fear. Up in space, the first wave of human missiles reached the alien fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Inside the alien ships, shields glowed softly. The missiles hit and vanished. No damage. No effect. Back in the command center, silence fell. Sir, an officer whispered, no visible damage. Marcus's jaw tightened. Send in the next wave. This time, they sent everything. Railguns fired from orbit. High-speed bullets, moving faster than sound, shot toward the alien ships. These were humanity's best weapons, strong, powerful, deadly. The bullets hit. Again, nothing. They bounced off the shields like rain hitting glass. Inside the alien command ship, the officers watched the attack. Unimpressed. One of them spoke, almost bored. They're using kinetic rounds. Another replied, they still believe speed and mass are enough. The commander gave a small smile. Let them continue. This is educational. Back on Earth, things were getting worse. Cities near the coast were flooding. Power systems were failing. Panic was spreading faster than any enemy. Inside the command center, voices overlapped. We are losing outer defense lines. Shields are not breaking. Our weapons are ineffective. Marcus raised his hand. The room went silent. He stared at the screen for a long moment. His eyes were sharp, thinking, calculating. Then he spoke slowly. They think we are weak. No one answered, because everyone knew it was true. At least, it looked that way. Another blast hit Earth. This time, a major port city was destroyed. The screen showed fire, smoke, and nothing else. One officer couldn't hold back anymore. Sir, what do we do? We can't even touch them. Marcus didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned and walked toward a smaller, darker section of the command center. A secure area. Restricted access. He placed his hand on a scanner. The door opened. Inside, a few high-ranking officers were already waiting. Their faces were serious. One of them spoke, quietly. "You're thinking about Phase 2. Marcus nodded once. "We don't have a choice." Another officer looked uneasy. "Sir, those rounds were never approved for full combat use." Marcus looked directly at him. "And now we are facing an enemy that laughs at everything we have." Silence filled the room. Then Marcus said the words no one wanted to hear. "Prepare the armor-piercing rounds." Outside, the battle continued. Human forces kept firing. Even though it did nothing, they refused to stop, refused to give up. In space, the alien fleet began to move closer, slow, confident, like predators who knew their prey was already defeated. Inside the weapons bay of an orbital station, a group of soldiers stood around a sealed container. One of them whispered, "Is it true? These are the Phase 2 rounds?" Another nodded. "I heard they can break anything." A third soldier shook his head. "Or make things worse." The container slowly opened. Inside were bullets. They didn't look special, just metal rounds. Simple, clean, but everyone in the room felt it. These were different. Back in the command center, Marcus returned to the main floor. "Status," he said. An officer replied, "Alien fleet advancing. Estimated full attack in minutes." Marcus nodded. Then he gave the order. "Switch all units to Phase 2 ammunition." The room froze. One officer spoke carefully. "Sir, are you sure?" Marcus's voice was calm but firm. "Do it." Across Earth defense systems, a silent command spread. "Switch to Phase 2. Soldiers looked at each other. Some confused, some nervous, but no one refused. They loaded the new rounds. Up in space, the alien commander watched the movement. "They are changing tactics," one officer said. The commander tilted his head slightly. "Interesting. Let us see if they can surprise us." Back on Earth, Marcus stood still, eyes locked on the screen. His voice dropped to almost a whisper. "They think our bullets are simple." He paused, then finished quietly. "Let them learn what they really are." In orbit, a single human railgun aimed at the nearest alien ship. Power built up. The new round was loaded. Everything went silent for a moment. Then, fire. The bullet shot forward, faster than anything before, cutting through space, heading straight for the glowing shield. Everyone watched. Human, alien, waiting. The moment stretched. Closer, closer, impact. And for the first time since the battle began, something changed. The impact did not look powerful. There was no giant explosion, no bright flash, just a small point of contact where the bullet touched the alien shield. For a split second, nothing happened. Then, the shield flickered. Inside the alien command ship, several officers leaned forward. "What was that?" one of them asked. The shield shimmered again, like a surface of water disturbed by a single drop. Then a thin crack of light appeared. It was small, almost invisible, but it was there. Back on Earth, the command center went completely silent. One officer whispered, Did it just react?" Marcus didn't speak. His eyes stayed locked on the screen. "Zoom in," he ordered. The image enlarged. The crack was still there. In orbit, the alien ship's shield tried to stabilize. Energy flowed across its surface, repairing, adjusting. But the bullet had not stopped. It was still moving, slow now but steady, pushing through. Inside the alien command ship, alarms suddenly came alive. Shield integrity dropping by 2%. Unknown penetration detected. The commander's calm expression faded for the first time. "That is not possible," he said. Then, the bullet broke through. It passed the shield, entered the ship, and a second later, a deep explosion shook the alien vessel from the inside. The alien ship did not explode completely, but it moved. For the first time, it lost control for a moment. Its lights flickered. Its formation broke. Back on Earth, cheers almost started, but no one moved. They were too shocked. One officer said slowly, "Sir, we hit them." Marcus finally spoke. Again. The second shot fired, then the third, then dozens. This time, the alien fleet reacted immediately. Raise shield output. Recalculate defense patterns. But it was too late. The new rounds were different. They did not just hit. They adapted. Each bullet adjusted its energy based on the shield it touched. Each impact created a weak point, and each weak point made the next hit stronger. Within seconds, more cracks appeared. Then more ships were hit. Explosions began to spread across the alien formation. Inside the alien command ship, panic started to grow. This is not primitive technology. Their weapons are evolving mid-impact. The commander stepped forward, his voice sharp now. Analyze the rounds. A machine responded quickly. Material composition, unknown. Behavior, adaptive penetration. The commander's eyes narrowed. Adaptive? Back on Earth, the mood was changing. Fear was still there. But now there was hope. In the weapons bay, soldiers loaded more armor-piercing rounds. One of them smiled nervously. They're not laughing now. Another replied, keep firing. Up in space, a second alien ship lost its shield completely. 3 bullets hit in the same spot. The shield collapsed. Moments later, the ship exploded into pieces. Inside the alien fleet, formation broke further. Ships moved out of position. Energy levels spiked everywhere. The commander watched it all. Slowly, carefully. They hid this, he said. One officer looked confused. Commander? They wanted us to believe they were weak. Back on Earth, Marcus stood still. An officer approached him. Sir, it's working. Marcus nodded slightly. Yes, but his face stayed serious. This was only the first step. More human weapons fired. Railguns, cannons, orbital platforms, all now using Phase 2 rounds. The alien shields struggled. They adapted, but too slowly. Each hit made the next one worse. Inside one alien ship, a group of soldiers prepared for impact. They had never felt fear before. Not like this. One of them said quietly, "Are we losing?" Another explosion answered that question. Back in the command ship, the commander made a decision. His voice returned to calm, but now it carried weight. Enough observation. All officers turned to him. Deploy the main fleet. A massive shape moved behind the smaller ships. Something larger, much larger. On Earth screens, a new object appeared. At first, it looked like a shadow. Then the image cleared. It was a mothership. Huge, dark, covered in layers of armor and energy fields. Bigger than anything humans had ever seen. In the command center, silence returned. One officer whispered, "Sir, what is that?" Marcus stared at it. Their real weapon. In space, the mothership slowly moved forward. Its presence alone pushed smaller ships aside. It did not rush. It did not need to. Inside it, energy began to gather. A massive weapon system was activating. Back on Earth, systems detected the change. Energy spike detected. Charging unknown weapon. Power levels exceeding previous attacks. An officer turned to Marcus, fear clear in his voice. "Sir, if that fires..." He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Marcus took a deep breath. Target the mothership. Weapons turned. All of them. The first wave of armor-piercing rounds fired. They hit the mothership's shield. This time, the shield did not crack. It absorbed the impact completely. Inside the alien command system, a new voice spoke. Cold, deep, different, primitive resistance detected. The commander stepped back slightly. Activate planetary purge. Back on Earth, alarm screamed louder than ever before. Weapon fully charged. Impact estimate, global. Marcus looked at the screen. For a moment, everything felt still again, just like the beginning. Then he spoke quietly. All units, prepare for final engagement. In orbit, the mothership's weapon reached full power. A bright light formed at its core, growing, expanding, and then it aimed directly at Earth. Inside the command center, no one moved. No one spoke. Until Marcus said one last thing. Fire everything we have. And as human weapons launched toward the largest enemy they had ever faced, the alien fleet prepared to end the war in a single strike. The light grew brighter. The bullets flew faster, and the distance between them closed. Very fast. The light from the alien mothership grew brighter with every second. It was no longer just a weapon. It looked like a second sun forming in space. Cold, silent, deadly. Back on Earth, every screen showed the same thing. A glowing point in orbit aimed directly at the planet. People stopped running. Some just stared at the sky. Others prayed. Inside the command center, no one spoke. They were past fear now. This was something else. Time to impact? An officer asked quietly. Another checked the data. Less than 2 minutes. Marcus did not look away from the screen. Keep firing, he said. In orbit, human weapons did not stop. Railguns fired again and again. Armor-piercing rounds hit the mothership's shield in rapid bursts. But nothing changed. No cracks. No flicker. The shield held. Perfect. Untouched. Inside the alien mothership, everything was calm. Unlike before, there was no panic here. Only control. A deep voice echoed through the chamber. Human resistance has increased. Another voice replied, but remains ineffective. The Central Intelligence processed the data. Adaptive projectiles detected. Countermeasures active. The commander of the fleet stood silently, watching, waiting. Back on Earth, tension reached its peak. One officer turned to Marcus. Sir, Phase 2 isn't working. Marcus stayed calm, but inside he knew the truth. Phase 2 was never meant for something like this. He spoke slowly. Give me Dr. Alaravos. A moment later, a woman appeared on screen. Her face was tired, her voice sharp. I told you not to use those rounds without full testing. Marcus didn't react. We don't have time for that now. He pointed to the screen. We need them to work. Dr. Voss looked at the data. Her expression changed. That's not a shield, she said. The room went quiet. What do you mean? Marcus asked. She zoomed in on the mothership's energy field. It's not just blocking damage, it's learning. A few officers exchanged confused looks. Dr. Voss continued. It studies each impact, each bullet. Then it adjusts instantly. She paused. You're not breaking it. You're teaching it. Silence. Heavy. Marcus finally spoke. Then we stopped teaching. Dr. Voss nodded slowly. There is one option. Every eye turned to her. She hesitated for just a moment, then said it. Phase 3. The room froze. One officer stepped forward. That's not even stable. Dr. Voss didn't argue. I know. Marcus crossed his arms. Explain. She took a breath. Phase 3 rounds don't adapt to the target. She looked directly at him. They forced the target to adapt too fast. No one understood, so she made it simple. They overload the system. Marcus's eyes narrowed slightly. And the risk? Dr. Voss answered without emotion. They can fail. She paused. Or they can tear through anything. Outside, another alarm echoed. 30 seconds of enemy fire. Time was gone. Marcus made his decision. Prepare Phase 3. Around the world, hidden systems activated. Deep underground. Far from cities. Weapons that were never meant to be used. In an isolated bunker, a sealed chamber opened. Inside was a single round. Larger. Darker. Different. Unlike the others. This one pulsed faintly. Like it was alive. A technician whispered, "This is a bad idea." Another replied, "It's the only one we have left." Back in orbit, the alien mothership reached full charge. The glowing light became blinding. Inside it, the Central Intelligence spoke again. Final sequence ready. The commander raised a hand. Fire. At that exact moment, a single human weapon powered up. Not a full battery. Not a fleet. Just one. A long-range rail platform. Hidden until now. Inside it, the Phase 3 round was loaded. Back in the command center, Marcus watched closely. Fire. The shot launched. It moved faster than anything before. Faster than Phase 2. Faster than anything the aliens had seen. The alien system reacted instantly. New projectile detected. Analyzing. But it was already too late. The Phase 3 round hit the shield. For a moment, nothing happened. Then everything happened at once. The shield began to shift, not smoothly like before. Violently, energy surged across its surface. Spikes, waves, distortions. The system tried to adapt, but the round changed too fast. Inside the mothership, alarms exploded. System overload. Shield instability rising. The Central Intelligence struggled. Adaptation failure. Recalculating. But there was no stable pattern. No solution. The shield cracked. Not small like before. Large. Visible. Back on Earth, someone shouted, "It's working!" Marcus didn't celebrate. Again. Another phase. 3-round loaded. The first one pushed deeper, breaking through layers of defense. Then, it pierced the shield completely. Inside the mothership, impact. A massive internal shockwave spread through its systems. Lights flickered. Gravity shifted. For the first time, the alien mothership moved off balance. The commander grabbed the control panel. What is happening? No one answered, because no one knew. Back on Earth, the second shot fired. It hit the same point. The crack widened. Then, a piece of the shield collapsed. The bright weapon at the center flickered, just for a second. But that second was enough. The beam misfired. Instead of hitting Earth, it shot off into empty space. Silence. Then, cheers erupted across the command center. But Marcus raised his hand. Not over yet. He was right. In orbit, the mothership still stood. Damaged, but not destroyed. Inside it, the Central Intelligence restarted systems. Emergency protocols active. The commander's voice returned. Hard. Cold. If we fall... He looked at the burning systems around him. Earth falls with us. A final command was entered. Back on Earth, alarm screamed again. New energy spike detected. Unknown system activating. Dr. Voss's voice came through fast. They're initiating self-destruct. Marcus turned sharply. How long? Minutes, maybe less. The room went silent again. Victory was close. But now, everything could still be lost. Marcus looked at the screen one last time, then gave the order. Prepare strike team. An officer blinked. Sir, you mean inside the ship? Marcus nodded. Yes. Because now, there was only one way left to finish the war, and it was the most dangerous one yet. Far above Earth, the damaged mothership glowed again, not with power, but with something far worse. A countdown had begun. The countdown had begun. It did not appear on human screens as numbers, but every system could feel it. A rising energy signal. A growing instability inside the alien mothership, like a heart beating faster. Before it stops, back in the command center, no one celebrated anymore. Victory was close. But now, the danger was even greater. Time estimate? Marcus asked. An officer checked quickly. 5 minutes, maybe less. Marcus nodded once. Enough. He turned to the tactical team. Prepare the strike unit. Around him, people moved fast. Not in panic. In focus. A holographic map of the mothership appeared. It was huge. Layer after layer of armor. Energy cores. Unknown systems. Dr. Voss pointed to a central point. That's the core. She zoomed in. If the self-destruct finishes, this entire ship will explode. She looked at Marcus. And take a large part of Earth with it. Silence. Marcus spoke clearly. We don't destroy it from outside. He looked at the map. We go inside. An officer hesitated. Sir, that's a one-way mission. Marcus didn't argue. He just said, I know. Minutes later, a small human assault ship launched from orbit. Fast. Stealthy. Built for one purpose. Insertion. Inside, a team of 6 soldiers prepared in silence. Each one wore heavy combat armor. Each one carried phase 3 rounds. At the front stood Captain Elias Ward. Calm. Focused. One soldier broke the silence. You think we're making it back? Elias didn't look at him. No. No one laughed. But strangely, no one felt fear either, because they all understood. This was the moment. Back on Earth, Marcus watched their signal. Guide them in. The small ship moved fast toward the damaged mothership. Around it, debris floated. Broken alien ships. Burning fragments. The mothership itself was unstable now. Energy leaked from its surface. Small explosions flickered across its hull. Inside the alien vessel, chaos. Alarms screamed in a language no human could understand. Systems failed. Lights dimmed. The commander stood in the center, holding control with pure will. "Stabilize the core," he ordered. The Central Intelligence responded, unable to comply. Self-destruct sequence locked. The commander's expression hardened. "Then we take them with us." Outside, the human assault ship reached the hull. Impact in 3, 2, 1. It attached to the surface. Magnetic clamps locked. Inside, Elias stood. "Move." Explosives were placed. A control breach. Boom. A hole opened into the alien ship. Dark. Smoking. Unknown. Elias stepped in first. Weapon ready. Inside, the air was different. Heavy. Cold. The walls were smooth, almost alive. Energy flowed through them like veins. One soldier whispered, "This place." Elias cut him off. "Stay focused." They moved forward, step by step. A strange sound echoed in the distance. Not mechanical, not human, something else. Suddenly, movement. Alien soldiers appeared from the shadows. Tall, fast, armed with energy weapons. They fired first. Bright blasts filled the corridor. The human team reacted instantly. Elias fired. A phase. 3-round hit the first alien. Its shield tried to activate, then failed instantly. The bullet passed through. Clean. The alien fell. The rest of the team opened fire. Close combat. Fast. Brutal. The aliens were strong, but they were not ready for this. Within seconds, the corridor was clear. One soldier breathed heavily. "They're not invincible." Elias reloaded calmly. "No one is." Back in the command center, Marcus watched the feed. Every second felt longer. Dr. Voss stood beside him. "If they don't reach the core..." She didn't finish. Marcus didn't reply. Inside the mothership, the team moved deeper. The structure became more complex, more unstable. Walls shifted. Lights flickered. The ship was dying. A voice suddenly echoed around them. Deep, artificial, foreign entities detected. The team stopped. Defense protocol active. Elias looked around. "Get ready." The walls opened. Machines emerged. Alien drones. Dozens of them. They moved fast. The team fired together. Phase! 3 rounds tore through the drones. But there were too many. One soldier was hit. He fell hard. "Leave me," he shouted. Elias didn't hesitate. "Move." They pushed forward, because stopping meant failure, and failure meant Earth would burn. Finally, they reached it, the core, a massive chamber, filled with light, energy moving in every direction. At the center, a sphere of pure power, unstable, growing. Self-destruct core confirmed. One soldier said. Elias stepped forward. "How do we stop it?" Dr. Voss's voice came through the comms. "You don't shut it down." She paused. "You break the chain reaction." Elias understood. "Shoot the core." "Not just shoot," she said. "Overload in the right way or it detonates faster." Elias looked at the team, then at the core. Time was almost gone. He loaded the final phase, 3 round. Took aim. "On my mark," he said. The core pulsed. Faster. Brighter. 3. The room shook. 2. Energy surged wildly. 1. Fire. The round hit the core. For a moment, everything went silent. Then, the energy reversed. Instead of expanding, it collapsed inward. Systems across the ship failed instantly. The countdown stopped. Back on Earth, all alarms went silent. Someone whispered, "It worked!" But inside the mothership, things were not over. The core was collapsing, but the structure around it was breaking apart. Elias looked at the team. Time to go. But as they turned, a massive blast shook the chamber. The exit path collapsed. Debris blocked the way. No escape. One soldier looked at Elias. "What now?" Elias looked back at the dying Corps, then said quietly, "We finish it." Because even now, there was one last risk left, and they were not leaving anything to chance. Far above Earth, the alien mothership began to tear itself apart, and inside it, a small team of humans made their final stand.